Hello everyone and welcome to Learn with Optmyzr. My name is Juan, I am part of Optmyzr's customer success team, and I'm excited to talk today about how PPC advertisers can use Optmyzr's competitive intel and data insights to benchmark performance, spot opportunities, and build better and smarter audiences. And it's all grounded in how competitors in the same space are behaving. So if you're trying to improve your ROI or to respond to rising CPAs, or you simply want to figure out who's bidding on the same keywords you are, you definitely want to stick around because the competitive insights and the use cases that I'm about to share in this video will not only address those points, but will also help you make strategic decisions faster. To get started, let's set up the problem. The scenario we're working with today is the following. Let's say that you're managing a PPC account, Google Search Ads, right? And that's where most of the traffic is coming from and your results. Now, suddenly you notice that CPCs start creeping up, your conversions drop, and as a consequence, as an immediate consequence, your client calls you and tells you or asks you, are we spending more than others in the industry? Who else is showing up in the results, right? Who else is bidding on our keywords? And how can we attract better quality traffic? All valid questions under this circumstance. But the challenge is that surface level data isn't going to be enough to answer the questions. So what we're going to need are competitive insights that help us tell our customer what's really happening in the market, and that also help us adjust the strategy to get better outcomes. So let's get to work and have a look at the first use case that we have for today, which is to see how the account's performing relative to the market. This will also help us answer the question our client had. Are we spending more or less than others in the industry? So to start working on this, we're going to go to Optmyzr, of course. And in the account dashboard, you are going to scroll down to the PPC vertical benchmark widget that you are seeing here. Where to find the account dashboard? Right here in the menu, simply click dashboard and that will open up this view. For this use case, we know that we need to see how the account is performing in its context, and we also want to find out where to focus next. So that's where the PPC vertical benchmark that we have on the screen gives you clarity, and it helps you answer questions like, is our CTR lower than what's typical in our industry? So let's start with that and what we're looking at here in the widget. We'll see more details in just a second, but by default, the widget will help you see how CTR or any of the other metrics available in the dropdown have performed month over month compared to others in the industry. So here you can see that the CTR for this account has decreased by almost 9% compared to the 0.68% increase that we're seeing in others in the same industry. Now, if we click view details or we go to the menu audits and insights and click here PPC vertical benchmark, that's going to take us to the full version of the tool where we're going to be able to investigate a little bit more and get more clarity. That's the point of this analysis that we're doing. Now, if the question is, again, is our CTR lower than what's typical in our industry, and we already saw that it decreased while for others it increased, we can also just see here how in general it compares to the CTR of others. So what this is saying is that the CTR of this account is better than almost 60% of all other accounts in the vertical. And the vertical is defined here. You can see that this is a shopping account. You can also change it at any point if it does not match the proper context of the account, but what we're essentially doing here is comparing this account against other shopping accounts in the universe of accounts connected to Optmyzr and accounts of a similar size, same time zone, etc. So what other questions can this help us address? Are we overpaying per conversion compared to similar businesses? So we look at CPA, and in fact, in this account, the CPA has increased drastically compared to how it has decreased for others. And again, we go back to this widget here on the right and we select CPA. And this tells us that although the CPA has increased, it is still better than 80% of all other accounts in the vertical. That's still good, right? Regardless of how it changed over time. Another interesting question that it can help you address is how your bid strategy stacks up compared to others. You can see that this account is using maximize conversion value for the most part, while for others in the vertical, it's almost a 50-50 split between maximize conversion value and target ROAS, which makes sense in the shopping industry. Now, the cool thing about all of this is that instead of optimizing in a vacuum, you're making decisions based on how you're actually comparing to your peers. If your CTR is below average, then that's a signal to revisit your ad copy or your keyword intent. If your CPA is above the industry norm, which is not the case for this account, then maybe you want to experiment with different bidding strategies or improve targeting. And if you're seeing that your traffic is too reliant on road match keywords, while top performers lean toward phrase or exact, then that's a roadmap for tightening your keyword targeting. And that is actually what you can see in this last widget that I'm showing you. This account is using exact match a little bit more than others in the vertical, but you can see that the distribution is pretty similar. Now, with the information that you've got here, you can imagine how your conversations with your clients and your stakeholders can become much more strategic, and you can provide better insights to them so they can understand what's going on with their campaigns and simply how they compare to others. So that's the PPC vertical benchmark. Now let's go have a look at the second use case. That second task or second use case is to help us spot when competitors are outbidding us, which will also answer the question on who else is bidding on our keyword. So let's go to Optmyzr. And the next tool that we're going to see is the Auction Insights Visualizer, which you can find under Audits and Insights. This tool can be great when, again, you see that your campaigns are suddenly being less efficient and you simply don't know why because you haven't changed anything in the account. And that's always probably the Auction Insights that's going to answer that question. So when you open that, you're going to see this tool where you can drop your Auction Insights report, and we'll give you an easy to read representation of what's happening in the Auction Insights, how your accounts are performing compared to your competitor. So first, of course, we need to download the Auction Insights report. That's pretty easy. Just go to the Auction Insights in Google Ads, click download, and once you've got that file, you simply drag and drop it. I got an example right here, so I'm going to just do that. And just like that, we've got all of the data in here. So for this account in particular, competitors are Amazon, product, and Google.com. And what we're just doing is letting you here select the configuration, what kind of chart you want to look, and what column the competitor information is. It detected the right one by default, and also the line that you want to compare in terms of performance. So by default, we're just looking at impression share. So basically what you're going to see here is which competitors are gaining or losing impression share, who's overlapping with you more often, and when new advertisers enter the auction. So it's just a visual format to make it easier to explain auction dynamics to your clients or stakeholders. So pretty easy tool, super simple to go over and explain. You've got here the overlap rate, you've got top of page rate or position above rate, and overall, again, super easy to use, really straightforward. You can print it or just share it live with your clients on your next meeting. Third and final use case, turn competitor traffic into your next audience. Or how can we attract better traffic? This is basically the last pain point that we're going to solve today. You know your competitors are attracting the right users, but you have no way to act on that intel. How can you solve this? By creating new audiences using your competitors' websites, and that is pretty easy. How do you do that? You guessed it, we go to Optmyzr. So you're going to head back to the account dashboard, and in there, you're going to find this top competitors widget. You've probably already seen it before. This button right here is what's going to help us create that new audience. And the idea is, again, to target people who visited your competitors' product pages, because these are users who are already showing interest in what you have to offer and are way more likely to convert. So in the end, the intention is to help you increase your ROAS and lower your CPA. How do we do it? You'll see that it only takes seconds. So we click create audience. That's going to open up this side tray where we automatically select your top 5 competitors. You can add others to this list. Below, you have the optional setting of targeting people with a specific interest or purchase intentions, or just people who search for the specific terms on Google. What's cool about this is that if you recently launched new campaigns or you forgot to link an audience to ad groups or asset groups, they'll be listed here so that you can link this audience directly to them. If that's not the case, like what we're seeing in this account, it doesn't matter, because you can still create the audience so that you can repurpose it, use it in different campaigns or in new campaigns that you are planning to launch soon. So for that, you simply click next and then create anyway. And just like that, again, in just a few seconds, you build a really targeted custom segment. Customers, users who have visited your competitors' websites. And again, what better way to get relevant traffic directly to your client's website and drive some more conversions. And with that, we've quickly addressed 3 different use cases, 3 different problems to make sure that you're able to answer those difficult questions your client may have in no time. But to end today's presentation and avoid some of those difficult questions in the future, let's have a look at some final workflow tips. Make sure to not let these tools become just a one-time report. Make them part of your routine, your optimization workflows, your account management routine. You want them to become part of your habit. Why? Because you can use the benchmarks to anchor monthly performance reviews. You can visualize or help your client visualize auction insights achieved during your quarterly business reviews to explain possible budget changes. And finally, remember to always refresh your competitor-based audiences. You don't know when a new competitor may enter the auction, so you want to make sure that you're always keeping an eye on that and keeping your audiences up to date to fuel evergreen campaigns. And with that, we've reached the end of this Learn with Optmyzr session. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, send them our way, support@optmyzr.com. And if you have not tried Optmyzr yet, go to optmyzr.com and sign up for a free trial. Take care, and until next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.